I didn't lose money because I couldn't read the markets. Last week, I lost a lot of money because I allowed one single mistake to influence every single other decision that followed. And this is exactly what we're going to discuss today. And I'm just going to start by saying that the things that we're going to discuss today are exactly the things that separate the professional traders from the ones who are still developing and are still trying to get to a consistent level. And everything started with the hesitation when it comes to my week. I hesitated, and then because of that hesitation, the spiral just began. So I hesitated on one of my entries. I hesitated because I wasn't necessarily sure that this was the right decision for me to make at that time. Although it turned out that that hesitation would have given me a lot more confidence and a lot more capital in the end, because all my triggers were there and I just didn't act on it. And then it turned out that the market went in my direction. I got very frustrated because of that. That is exactly what happened. I hesitated to apply the trigger, to pull the trigger, and then the market turned in my direction. I got really frustrated by that, and then I just spiraled into a lot of mistakes after that, because the market was clear. The market, I had everything checked out. I had a checklist. I had everything checked out, although I couldn't really pull the trigger. And my next trade after that wasn't about the money. My next trade after that was about me missing the move because of the hesitation. And then the market went up, and then I tried to short it. I was just trying to catch the top. Obviously that almost never plays out, and luck has nothing to do with trading. I lost money on that one. Then I tried to short the market again in a much better position and in a much better place. I got stopped out, and then I tried shorting the market again, and that was a very unfortunate trade where I was actually right in that moment about the direction of the market, although I just got wicked out slightly. And then the trade hit my stop loss again. Only after that to then discover that the market would have made a big move downwards. So these are the spiral mistakes that happened to me, and a lot more followed after that. But what's interesting to me is that in that moment, I wasn't thinking straight. I was just trying to prove to myself that I'm not the one who hesitates, that I'm not the one who leaves any unfinished business on the table. Because there's a very important lesson here, and the lesson is that the brain hates unfinished business. And so this is what I was basically trying to do the whole time. But when you're in that state, you obviously lose a lot of your focus, because then you cannot follow your checklist, or at least this is my case, and this is exactly what happened to me. And a lot of people think that market means emotions, although I actually think it's emotions over market. The charts didn't become any different. I was different. I was in a state where I just couldn't see any other way out other than just trying to catch the next move, and then just trying to catch the next move, and then trying to catch the next move again. And that one mistake just became a lot more mistakes, which cost me 2% of my total account size. I don't think it was revenge trading. I think it was just unfinished business. I think it was just me sitting in front of the computer for hours, trying to identify my levels, trying to be patient, trying to be disciplined. And then when missing out a big move like that purely because of hesitation, I felt like there was a lot of unfinished business on the table that I needed to finish. And that obviously doesn't work in trading. There was another aspect that I really thought about. I gave it a lot of thought, and then in that moment I started to blame luck. Because again, I mentioned earlier that I was wicked out on one of the trades, and then the trade could have made again probably 2% back in profits. And then I was like, oh wow, this is so unlucky. This is unbelievable. How is this even happening? Because I had 4 trades up to that moment, and then on my last trade I'm just losing again because of just a couple of points. And then I gave it a lot of thought. And maybe you found yourself in this position as well, where you just say, well, this was just unlucky, and then you think that markets have to do anything with luck. Although I don't think they have. I don't think markets have anything to do with luck. Sure, you can be unlucky, same as I was in that moment, and get wicked out. But then luck, it's basically just a 50-50 probability of, you can either be lucky or unlucky, right? And then even though in that specific moment, you can call it luck or, however you want, I don't think in the long run, it actually matters, because it's a 50-50% probability. So yes, in that instance, you may be unlucky, but then there's a 50% chance that next time you can actually be lucky. So instead of being wicked out, the market stops right above your stop loss or below the stop loss, and then it just goes in your favor, and that you can call luck. But this is obviously just a 50-50 probability. So luck and luck has nothing to do with the markets. Sure, in the short term and for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, sure, the argument can be that luck has something to do with it, but in the long run, it's just a 50-50% probability. So what am I actually trying to say here? Well, I'm saying that one mistake can spiral down into a lot more mistakes. I'm saying that emotional management after one simple mistake, it's crucial for the next trades. And then what do you do when you find yourself in a drawdown, as I am? Well, I'm still trying to regulate my emotions, to be honest. I'm still trying to put myself and to ground myself into the process itself. Because if I know if I'm not just gonna follow the process, I know that this can go down badly for me, right? So I feel like this is the right approach for me to do right now and to take. And it's just, again, I never thought that I can actually end up in a situation like this, but this is trading. And this is why I wanted to put this out there, because everybody just says and shows their wins and, shows how much money they make. Although trading is different, and sure, you can make very good money. Although what do you actually do when you're not making money, which is very important to then protect the capital, to preserve your emotional state. How do you ground yourself? How do you come back from a week like this, right? So this is what I want to say, and this is what I feel like it's important for any trader, not just myself in this moment, because eventually it will happen to everybody. And I know how to trade. I know how to trade. Although managing yourself when you are within these trades and when you have a lot of pressure to perform, to deliver, to make some profits, right? Then everything, all the theory and all the knowledge can somehow disappear, and then mistakes can happen. There were a lot more mistakes that I've done. For example, I didn't check the higher time frame, because I'm basically trading gold on 5-minute time frames, 1-minute time frames, and so on and so forth. So another mistake that I've done was that I didn't check the higher time frames, like the 1 hour time frame, when it came to understanding where the support and resistance was. And so basically I just entered a long position under a very big resistance level on the 1 hour time frame. And that, again, because I was not in the right mindset, I wasn't patient enough with myself to wait and to actually do all the research that I'm always doing, right? And that happened because of that hesitation. I'm trying to diagnose every single mistake as clear and as good as I can. Although sometimes it just happens to lose, and then it just happens for yourself to struggle, which last week has been a very big struggle for me. But I'm still gonna trade. I will follow the process regardless, and I'll try to obviously get back on track, because officially I'm in a drawdown. And this is challenging, but it's part of the process as well. So I am just reminding myself that this is something that will benefit me in the future. So that gives me enough courage and strength to continue to do this. So this is it for now. I will keep you posted. I will let you know whatever is going to happen this week. And if you ever find yourself in a position like this, you just have to remind yourself to stick to the process.